Hi, it's Paul here from InterAcct Software, and today what we're going to be doing is looking at the bundle function underneath the job costing. Bundles is actually a package that another company has made. We'll share a link at the bottom for that, but we have used it to in our job costing to be able to basically use it like you're using manufacturing in a way. It's a bit like setting up a BOM or a kit, and we can use it in different ways. You can actually use it also in another way where you may be setting up, for instance, like a standard room, for example, if you're in the construction industry, and you could put a multiplier on that to sort of get a rough idea of the cost that you might incur in building a home, to give you a starting point, and also to give you all the products and cost items that you might want to be using in building a home, for example. But the other idea is, for instance, like in manufacturing, you'd be building a widget or a bike in our test scenario. So under there, we'll set up, here's a standard bike, and here's all the costs that can incur with building a bike. But then once you bring it into the estimate, you can then modify it from there and adjust away to whatever it needs to be. So let's go through how we set up a bundle first, and then we'll go through and have a look at how we're attaching an estimate to the job costing. So if we go to the products, and we'll just pick up one of these bundles that I've already created. So this 15-inch bikes. And so all you need to do when you set up a bundle, basically once you push new here, there'll be an option here, is this a bundle? It needs to be a consumable item. This is under version 17, and then it will show this tab over here for bundle. And so in this case, it's a bike. So we've added all the things that we might incur in building a bike. If you need to add more, say in this case, I forgot to add the tire tubes. I can add those in there. Say, okay, we need 2 of them per bike, and then save that, and that will then be added to the bike bundle next time we use it. Okay, so that's how to add a bundle. It's the same sort of thing with, for instance, if I come back to my products, I've also got down here for later, for example, adding a standard room bundle, and then what is included in that room, that sort of stuff. So let's go into a job now, and we'll use that bundle. So I'm just going to come into this particular one here, and I'm going to add a new estimate here. So we're going to do 15-inch bikes now. Okay, and save that, and then we'll go into that particular estimate. And so, sorry, I've gone into the wrong one. Come back, go into the 15-inch bikes. So there's nothing in there at the moment. Now, what you can be doing in the case of this, where it is manufacturing, you are creating a number of bikes. In this case, we're making them for a rental shop. We might indicate here the number of bikes we actually need. You can do it at this point. You can even leave that blank at the moment, and we'll have it change it so when you do it, and you can add it in the bundle area, the quantity. But let's just put it there for now. I'll save that. Now we'll go into add a bundle, and we'll put in our 15-inch bikes. There's our bike bundle 15-inch. That's what I want. So it's brought through that particular bundle or that kit. And we're just going to bring it through as a 1. That's okay at the moment, but later you'll be able to change that to put in the actual quantity of how many you're making, and that would then update the quantity to make. We'll have an option for that later, but for the moment, let's just bring it in as a 1. Okay, so if you have a look now at the materials, you can see that we need 2 tires, 2 wheels, and per bike, but because we need 12 of them, we're going to have our requirements are actually for 24. So that's how it's multiplied out. And if we just change it up here, if they decide to have 13, for instance, obviously these numbers then will update down here as well. So that's really adding a adding a bundle to a estimate, and with it this quantity to make, giving you some sort of multiplier out. That's one way you can use it. So that's one. The other way you can use this, as I mentioned before, is if, for instance, you've got a job. In this case, we've got a number of in this case it's a council development to build 3 houses. Each of those houses, different location. So if we go into each one of those, these are in actual sub-jobs. We can then bring up the estimate, which I've just created before. So this is for one of the houses. So if I go into this one, and say for instance here, the quantity to make is pretty much irrelevant for this one. We'll just always keep it as 1 for this type of work, but we might be adding multiple bundles in. So the idea here would be is, for instance, if for instance you had, okay, my standard bundle for a house is a 500 square meter house, or 100 square meter, whatever number you want to have as your standard bundle. You might want to say, okay, well, this is maybe, say for instance, if it's 100 square meter is your standard bundle, and this is a 500 square meter house, then we would multiply the bundle by 5 to give us the right number. So if I go into here, add bundle, and I'll just type in standard. So standard house bundle. Okay, so this is what we need to build a standard house, and we probably should put there 100 square meters. And let's say we need a 500 square meter, or even to the fact we need 523 square meter. You know, we can go down to that sort of decimal point level, which is probably quite good. So in this case, I'll apply. And so what it's done, it's still got the quantity to make as 1 here, but if you look at the materials now, you'll see that the materials are being multiplied out by my 5.23. I can't remember the number I put in now, but the number of square meters that I said the house was going to be. So then you could, for instance, add another bundle and say, look, we also need to have a room bundle. We need to have a number of rooms, and say for instance there might be 6 rooms in the house. So this is just a little bundle saying we need to gibrock up the rooms, and the builder will need to spend an amount of time to do that as well. So we could put a quantity of 6 in here and apply that. And then that's, as you see, it's added that 6 times the 5 for the quantity there, and indicated that's how much gibrock we actually need to do the house. We could then add another bundle and also do a standard room electrical bundle, for example. And that might be the light switch for the room, 4 downlights, the power switches, and then some time for a subcontractor, electrical subcontractor, to actually install those things. And again, you might say, well, there's 6 rooms, so I'm going to apply it for 6. Okay, so you get the idea. You can start adding these bits and pieces and apply it to building a house, and sort of keep your little bundles for the different sort of areas. You might have a bundle that's the standard electrical bundle. Might have one with downlights bundle, or might one with a pennant light, whatever it might be. You could set up different bundles for different purposes, and really what it's doing is just giving you a starting point. So you might then say here, look, that steel frame, yeah, that's probably going to be more like 350 that we'll need for that, and gibrock, actually that will be more like 36 we'll need for that. So it doesn't need to link back to the bundle at all in this scenario. We can just modify the quantities after that point. So yeah, in this particular scenario for a construction, you wouldn't need to use the quantity to make. That will always probably be 0 in our case. And if you don't want to use the quantity to make field, under your settings here, you can come and switch that off as well. So if that's something that you'll never need to do, is in the case of like making widgets or making the same item over and over again, or multiple for a particular job, you could switch that functionality off. So if we come back to our jobs and have a look at our construction job, so we've got a budget underneath the 15 Red Road, but same sort of thing is you could come in under the estimate for 16 Red Road and do the same sort of thing where you've got, okay, a standard house, and you go, well, this particular house, that's based on 100 square meters, but this one is only 423 or 4.23 times the standard, so it's good because then from there you've got all the material multiplied out by that factor, and then it gives you a good sort of starting point of, okay, what do we actually need for this job? And then from there you can multiply, you can adjust accordingly if you need to up or down any of those numbers. So it's a good way to get that point. Okay, so that's all I really wanted to get through today. So just to revise, we've got the bundles being able to be added, And I'll share the link, as I said, down below relating to the developer of that bundle package. And we've used it for our estimating. So we've got the two options of either making widgets or using it like manufacturing, or using it in the sort of construction type industry where you could, for instance, use a factor and multiply out the bundle by that factor. Okay, speak to you later. Bye. We are an Odoo partner and have been installing ERP packages since 1983. Mainly our Australian-made package InterAcct software, which has a ton of great features, quite similar to Odoo. We've been helping clients personalize and install Odoo since 2020. We pride ourselves on our customer relationships and getting to know exactly what benefits their businesses. You can contact us via our website or toll-free number 1300 66 2626. We hope to hear from you soon.